Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
What is animal chiropractic? Animal chiropractic gets to the root of the problem. What we do as animal chiropractors is we go in, we remove nervous system interference from your animal's body. What that is it helps get rid of warning signs, which are symptoms. So symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, lameness, achiness, all those things are just symptoms of a problem. Just like if the warning check engine light is on in your car, all right? That check engine light is just a warning. And if you cover it up with black duct tape, it really doesn't do anything, but it's gone. The warning's gone. So if we get rid of, we give an anti-inflammatory to your dog, we make it so they don't puke anymore, we give them an antiemetic, non-vomiting, all those things get rid of the symptoms, but they never really get to the cause of the problem. So we need to take that black tape off the warning light. We need to go in and find out, good mechanic could go in and find out what the code is. That code is say, you have a vertebral subluxation at COC1. You have a vertebral subluxation at T6, T7. That's what's causing the pancreatitis problem. We remove those two vertebral subluxations and everything should be better. We got to and then we'll keep them in shape. Your air filter's plugged. We have to keep it clean. It's not a one-time deal. It's a procedure. And those are the kinds of things that your animal chiropractor is going to do. So as an animal chiropractor, we're going to go in. We're going to make sure the warning lights stay turned off. Okay? Because if we see a warning light, it means there's damage being done. So that's what we're going to do as animal chiropractors. We're going to keep those warning lights off.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Helping others experience an abundant life with the gift, art, and blessing that is animal chiropractic is our sole mission at All Creatures Every Spine. It's what we do. It's what we love. It truly is what keeps us motivated to help people just like you. I truly love the art of chiropractic. It drives me to provide the highest level of chiropractic possible. And as fellow chiropractic business owners, it's that love that drives us to become better. However, the reality is that sometimes running a successful business can be challenging. Sometimes there can be obstacles to overcome. We all know the old saying, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Well, one thing that is really easy is marketing our clinic with a professional animal chiropractic website by the Conroe website pro, Tony Seymour. He's a professional web designer, and his team at Conroe Website Pro take good care of us. They simply make marketing our practice 100% hassle-free. If you're looking for the #1 hands-free way to market your practice, give the Conroe Website Pro a call at 423-779-4630 or simply visit www.chirowebsitepro.com and make sure you ask them about the special ACES discount and let them know Dr. Amy and Dr. O sent you. You'll be glad.
Your active dog needs more than water to rehydrate. Replenish Dog Water Supplement is an all-natural powdered water flavoring, prevents dehydration and provides vitamins for your dog. Created by a veterinarian and rooted in science. Give your dog the care they deserve with Replenish.
Standard Process is a third-generation family-owned company in rural Wisconsin. You could say we just make nutritional supplements, but we know we're changing lives. We grow ingredients on our own certified organic farm without pesticides or herbicides, because we think they should be as close to nature as possible. Quality is our priority. That's why we do everything right here, from hand-picking the seeds to delivery, so you know exactly what goes into every bottle.
Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm your host, Dr. O, and we appreciate you being here because you're the reason that we're here to spread animal chiropractic to the world. We're going to tell you, you're going to tell your friend's going to tell somebody else, and pretty soon everybody's going to know about animal chiropractic, and that's the goal. Our guest on Who is Animal Chiropractic is Dr. Brynne. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your practice, where you're at?
Sure. I'm down here in Houston, Texas. I work around, not in Houston if I can help it, but around the perimeter. I've been in practice, since 2015, and I started Animal Chiro here in Texas in about 2017, and practice has just really taken off. I do probably about 65 or 70% animal, and then I have one day a week where I see my human patients right here in the office, and it's a lot of pregnancy, pediatrics, so really fun days, mix of kids, animals, cool people.
All right, nice. So the practice that you designed?
Yes.
Not the practice somebody else designed?
Correct. It is very, very unique.
Well, and that's one of the nice things, I think, that, would you agree, that animal chiropractic allows you to do?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Whether you're a veterinarian thinking about adding animal chiropractic, or a chiropractor thinking about adding animal chiropractic, it really helps you make your practice unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
And gives you some extra tools to help the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's your so why did you even decide to add animal chiropractic?
Well, I went to chiropractic school with the intention of becoming an animal chiropractor. I was at a crossroads when I was a teenager, and I was between becoming a DVM or a DC to do animal chiropractic. I decided to do the DC route and then go get my AVCA certification. But I went to school knowing I was going to do animal chiropractic.
Ah, cool. So what made you decide that, if we go way back when?
When I was 16, I had a snowboarding accident, and chiropractic basically saved me and kept me from going down that road of being on probably 10 medications and, having all of these chronic injuries. And then I was a horse person growing up, always riding around horses. I was managing barns, and I thought it would be a really cool application. I had never seen anyone do it until I went to school, but it was something I thought in my mind, I thought this would be really neat to integrate this into the animal world. And I know it was kind of an up and coming field.
Cool. So, and then you went to which school?
Sherman College of Chiropractic, and then I went to ACEs.
Right. And we love Sherman. We have a tie to Sherman. Even though, you know, I taught for 10 years at one of the other schools in Dallas. When my son was in neuro ICU, both the president and vice president of Sherman Chiropractic College came over and adjusted him.
Yeah.
When they were in town for the weekend, you know, they just called up and said, "Hey, we're in town for the weekend. Can I come adjust your son?" And well, that's pretty cool. So I called some people, you know, from other chiropractic colleges. Hey, oh yeah, well, no, when you get him up and about, come, yeah, maybe. And so I was like, wow, there is a whole difference between, you know, doing it and talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things that Sherman graduates definitely learn is how to do it.
Yeah, we Sherman is very much one of the beautiful things that they do is teach the why behind what you're doing. You gain the philosophy and how to apply it more than just as a therapy. And I really appreciated ACEs because I felt of the animal chiropractic world, you were as straight as Sherman is straight. So it was really great to see the infusion of philosophy. So you really understand why you're doing what you're doing versus just applying a therapy as, you know, like you would anything else. You're just like, well, this is just something I'm going to throw at it and we're just going to see there's a philosophy underneath it.
Yeah. And that's before I knew what a straight chiropractor was. We were at a meeting called Dynamic Essentials, which is a huge chiropractic philosophy seminar that's been around since the 60s. Probably one of the first, you know, non-CE philosophical seminars that there was. And we were there and we had a booth, and I mean, we had to, like, we want to pay you money to set up a booth at your deal. And we had to jump through hoops and answer questions. And I'm like, I've never had this before. Everybody just, you want to give us money? Sure, fine, be here. So anyway, we're there and we keep getting, you know, why are you here? You know, we're straight chiropractors. And why are you here? We're straight chiropractors. And I didn't know. And I put my arm around Dr. Amy and said, well, I'm a straight animal chiropractor. I'm married to her. and I didn't know that's, and a couple of them got mad. Because that's not what it means. And a straight chiropractor, why don't you tell us the difference between a straight and a mixer?
Well, it's a straight chiropractor, you know, it's really looking to the nervous system first and making sure that the integrity of the nervous system is there, making sure that their interference to the nervous system is removed, and make it, because everything else that without communication throughout the body, all of the other modalities they're not as effective. They won't, the body needs the nervous system to function, and straight chiropractors find it, fix it, and then make it happen. Yeah,
leave it alone. And I heard a Dr. Dobson once talk about how he felt he was a straight chiropractor, even though he does recommend some nutrition. and he does recommend some exercise because he said that, the straight chiropractic comes from BJ and Dee, and all they did was, adjust. But he said every one of their patients was on a whole food nutrition plan because there wasn't anything else available. And they all were on an exercise program. It was called Life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got to have good blueprints, and then you have to have good building materials.
Yeah.
So.
And if you don't, because nobody back in 1910 sat at a computer all day long.
Maybe a sewing machine or something.
Yeah. Well, but that was a hand pump sewing machine. So, or a foot
Get
pump.
some exercise.
Yeah. So our equivalent today would be a Peloton. The original Peloton. Oh, we should market that. Get some antique sewing machines. Anyway, yeah, that would be a way to go. So, yeah, cool. So what's your biggest win with animal chiropractic?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. It's just it's saving animal lives. I mean, just a prime example this week. I had talked to you on the phone last week and said I've got a really good example that's coming along. So this little dachshund, basically he stopped walking, and the owners had reached a point where they were in the vet's office getting ready to insert the needle to euthanize him. And one of the vets, small animal vets that's new to the area, came in and said, wait, let's try laser and chiropractic. And so we started that protocol, and he came in on Tuesday, and he's walking, and the owners are just blown away. And he's only 5, and he was about to be euthanized, and now he has a new lease on life because of I did 2 adjustments at that point. I hadn't even done his 3rd adjustment yet.
Cool.
So that's to me, that's a win.
That's a huge win.
Yeah.
And then, we're working on the laws in Texas, and one of the cases that we're going to use is a dog that you were involved that lives right across the street from you, right?
They're a few minutes away, but in the area. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm about 4.5 hours from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in Texas, currently, you must have a veterinary referral.
Yeah.
And this dog had been seen by a veterinarian several times and was told $10,000 worth of surgery or euthanize. Right? And the owner said, I want to try chiropractic. And the orthopedic surgeon said no, and the veterinarian said no, and you said, I know a guy. And they were on their way to drive here. And I tried to find animal chiropractors between here and there, and we finally found one a little bit closer to you. I think she's about an hour and a half, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she saw her. She adjusted the first time, and you've been doing since. And how's that dog doing now?
He's doing great. He's running around, living his best life.
Yeah. And no $10,000 worth of surgery?
Well, he got tackled by a German Shepherd, and that was a different surgery for a different thing, but not for his spine. And that was when he was, I think, 4 or 5.
Yeah. So cool. Definitely a huge deal. When you come back to the ranch now, we have a new dog. She has her own Facebook page. Her name is Aces Willow. So I have to put a plug in for her. Go visit Aces Willow on Facebook and like her, because she has to earn her keep now. I had to buy her for $1 to keep her from being euthanized. Because chiropractic didn't work long enough for her. She hadn't walked for 6 weeks. And I adjusted her, and she immediately started playing, walking around the office, And one owner was just so happy, and they went home, and 24 hours later they called and said it's not working. Okay, well, let's adjust again. So we did, and it lasted about 2 days. So we're getting better. She's getting stronger. She hadn't walked in 6 weeks. No, by the way, she was only 7 weeks old. So they went to the vet, got a checkup. Vet said, "Oh, her brain's too big for her skull. She needs to be, she needs surgery or euthanasia." And the one owner said, "Well, let's give it one more try." So they came back, and basically they told me that this had to work or she was going to go to sleep. And I said, "Well, it's been working." No, they didn't understand that chiropractic is a process, not a procedure. And so anyway, Willow lives at the ranch. She's our dog. She walks, and she's grown about twice as much because we improved her nutrition. She's now on a whole raw food diet. She, gets adjusted. She gets checked daily, gets adjusted when she needs it. And when she first started moving around a lot, she was circling a lot to the right. So we had to stimulate her on the left side and build the left side of her nervous system. And now she can walk in a straight line, and she circles. When she gets excited, she circles because she's not concentrating, kind of like a young kid. Okay. But she circles just as much to the left as she does to the right.
There you go. She balances it out.
So anyway, so that's Willow Aces, or Aces Willow. You're going to have to, she's named after Sharon Willoughby, the first woman of animal chiropractic.
Yeah.
So yep. So anyway, any other big wins?
Oh gosh. I mean, I've had so many cases of animals that have been about to be euthanized, animals that were about to be retired, animals that were retired and have come out of retirement. We've got a big case here where one of our officers on the force, our four-legged friends, has just been retired because he had an accident that basically they just couldn't rehab him from. And between good farrier work, chiropractic work, he's back up, just got turned out with his herd and is thriving. But he was at that point, he's 7 years old and got retired because they had some stuff that, thought they couldn't rehab. And it's living miracles every day.
Right. Cool. And those horses and dogs, we say, oh, they're like police dogs and police horses. Mm-hmm. They're huge because the community, they're more effective than like one officer on a horse or one officer with a dog is more effective in a lot of situations than 2 or 3 officers. Mm-hmm. And those, they have a one-time cost that's pretty expensive. Like the average police dog is running about $40,000 by the time they get them trained and get them into a handler and get them into a situation. But then they last. That's really, except for food, that's the only expense. And they should have an 8-year working span if they're taken care of. And chiropractic can help expand that working life.
Yeah. We'll make it much safer for everybody because, if these horses hurt, sometimes they're uncomfortable and they can, like any other horse, they can buck or kick or anything like that. Yeah. So keeping both the rider and the crowds they're working, keeping everybody safe.
Yeah. And those horses, most of them are pretty tall. So one of the advantages is like with kids that are lost, it gives that officer a higher perch so he can see. Dogs, one of the things that one of my police dog handler says is that there's no gray area. So my dog doesn't care if that's a real gun in your hand or not.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about shooting you if that's a real gun in your hand, if that's a fake gun in your hand, because I know my dog's going to take you out, whether it's fake or real. So drop it. You know? And dogs aren't racist, so you can't say, well, the dog, they're not racist. They don't care about how much money you make. And then they don't even care if you're helping them or not. If it hurts bad enough, they will bite you. I had a police dog that couldn't bite that I fixed. I told the owner, the handler, I said, this is going to hurt. Because TMJ was really out of whack.
Mhm.
Said, this is going to hurt. It did. But the dog, immediate gratification, I knew the dog could bite. Immediately, I knew the dog could bite. Sometimes that's not such a good thing. That
Yes,
immediate
it's like, well, they're functioning again.
Yeah. I had 185-pound growth on my arm, but yeah. So yeah, that's cool when we get to work with the community members like that, with the officers and help them go and yeah. So what would you tell animal owners? What do you wish they knew?
They just need to know that there are alternatives it seems like there's sort of this chiropractic fits beautifully in this area between what the owner does at home, when they have good instructions on nutrition and stretching and all of that, home care, exercise, and then when there's something going on but it's not in the realm of surgery. But if they don't know about chiropractic, they don't know that they have these other options available. So just really getting people the awareness of chiropractic, and that sometimes if you have what looks like a complicated problem like this dog not walking, sometimes it's not just because the problem looks big. Sometimes it's a very simple thing to fix it. So not to be deceived by what looks like a huge problem, but to try it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, because a lot of times the nervous system controls every organ, every function in the body. And so if there's interference in the nervous system, just removing that nervous system interference can fix numerous symptoms.
It's what I tell a lot of my clients, is that when there's interference to the nervous system, it can mimic all kinds of crazy diseases, maladies. So sometimes I see something that looks like, for example, I've had how many cases of horses that look like they're EPM, but I say it's a possibility, but let's adjust first. Because I have seen so many horses, we start adjusting and all of a sudden all that neuro stuff starts to clear up. And that happens a lot. I've seen cases that look like shivers, cases that look like, they call it head shakers, wobblers, all kinds of really debilitating neurologic things. And you get the alignment correct, you get the nervous system functioning, and that stuff clears up.
There was a study done in Tennessee at least 20 years ago where they looked at EPM positive horses. Mm-hmm. They had 300 EPM positive horses that were non-clinical at the time. And they followed them for, I think it was 5 years to see how many of them became clinical. Mm-hmm. So they all had a positive blood test, but nothing in the spine, obviously. So it was non-clinical. And 20% of the horses that did not get chiropractic care developed clinical symptoms. 2% of the horses that received routine chiropractic care developed symptoms. So even if it is EPM, the EPM can help that horse heal.
Yeah. Chiro is one of the best things that it just works wonders.
And for those that don't know, EPM is a demyelinating disease similar to MS in humans. Multiple sclerosis in humans, it's similar. So what do you do for MS? Well, you adjust and change the diet. What did you do for EPM?
What did I do for EPM?
What did you do? You adjust and
I adjusted, and we talked about nutrition.
yeah. And I had a chiropractor, an animal chiropractor, a certified animal chiropractor, call me because his German Shepherd, it was his, so that makes it hard to listen, right? When it's yours.
Yeah.
Was just diagnosed with a demyelinating, it was German Shepherd, demyelinating German Shepherd problem. So it was weak in the back end, demyelination, all this stuff. And he wanted to know what to do. What drug should he put it on? And I said, adjust and diet. No, what drug, blah, blah, blah. I said, man, I just don't know. I guess I don't know enough about that particular disease. I said, sorry, not my thing. But hey, while I got you on the phone, one of my neighbor's kids has just diagnosed with MS. What should we do? And he said, adjust and change the diet. And I said, are you sure? Yep, adjust and change the diet. And so he told me that about 3 times. And I said, so for a demyelinating disease, the best thing you can do is
adjust and change the diet.
Wow. Oh, I see what you're trying to say, Doc. So the diagnosis, sometimes the why is more important than the diagnosis. Go back to one of the first things we talked about today. Why? What are we doing? What's your why? We're going to remove nervous system interference because chiropractors are experts at finding and removing nervous system interference and allowing the nervous system to function at optimal levels. Nobody else can do that. And that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Anything that you would tell anybody that's thinking about becoming an animal chiropractor?
I'd go for it.
Well, it's a lot of money, right?
I mean, it can be. I mean, if you structure it right, I would say definitely shadow people, and there are a lot of different methods of styles of adjusting. One of the things that I think that really helps my practice is patient communication. I spend a lot of time, probably more than I should, but I spend a lot of time educating my patients, talking through things that they can do at home. And can you give me 1 second?
You bet.
I've got a little interference back here.
A little nervous system interference.
Yeah, if you want to pause it for a second.
All right.
Okay. Running interference there.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning of that question.
Yes.
Which was, what would you tell people? Hey, so what would you, any words of advice that you would give chiropractors that were thinking about becoming an animal chiropractor?
To go ahead and get into the industry, I would encourage them to shadow several different people. I would shadow a DVM and see how they integrate it. I would shadow a DC, see how they integrate it. And then patient education. That's one thing that is really big in my practice, is educating people on what's happening with their animal, what's going on with the nervous system, how does diet affect this? How does hoof structure and farrier work? How do nail trims affect the spine? How does their lifestyle, what's going on around them, their environment, how is all of this affecting their spine and nervous system? And how can we help the overall environment for the animal and the animal itself thrive? Putting all of the pieces together so that the animal can be as healthy as possible.
Yeah, cool. And stay around, I mean, I was reading something the other day about why not to get a Burmese mountain dog, which, we have a cross. And it said that they don't live long enough because they're a big dog. And so you're going to get, tied to them, and they're not going to live as long. And I think that's a problem that anybody that's had multiple dogs knows. They don't stick around very long sometimes. And so one of the things chiropractic does is help them stick around a lot longer.
Longevity. You're like, challenge accepted.
Yeah. Let's stay here. Yeah. One of my agility clients one time told me that she was upset with me, and I was like, oh no, what do I do now? And she said, well, I used to only have 5 dogs, and now I have 8 or 9 dogs. I'm like, how's that my problem? You can't blame that one on me. She says, yes, I can, because I used to have 2 dogs in training, 2 dogs competing, and 1 dog retired. And now my retired dogs stick around until they're 17, 18, 19 years old. And so now I have 4 retired dogs. And it's your fault, Doc. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'll take the blame for that one.
Yeah. When I first started this work, I was working with an equine rescue, and she would rescue senior horses. Some of them came in with like cancer, fractured necks, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it was a really great practice. I got to see a lot of very interesting cases. But she said, yeah, I'm just going to keep having you come back, because the ones you work on, they just keep living. So I took it as a compliment.
Yeah. Well, and you saw some of our horses, here at the ranch. We only have horses that people don't think are going to have, but, maybe a year or so left. And they end up being here for 3, 4, 5 years. Some of them 6 years or more.
Yeah.
And somebody said, your horses, how come half your horses are so skinny? And I said, because they're over 30 years old. Mm-hmm. And they weren't horse people. And they're like, well, so how old is old for a horse? 40, 50? No, 15 or 16.
Yeah.
20 is an old horse. And we had a 40-year-old and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 30 at one time. So
yeah, the senior farm.
Yeah. But anyway, so all right. Well, thank you so much for taking your time tonight and talking to us. Any parting words before you?
If you're thinking about it, definitely get into it. It's a really fun. It's a really fun way to practice. And, it's animal patients can't lie. So it's a testament to chiropractic and how effective it is. Just try it out, shadow some people. That's probably the best way.
And if I have a dog or a horse or a kid or a pregnant wife, and I want to get them adjusted, how do I get a hold of you?
You can just check out our office. It's called Back in the Saddle Chiropractic. We're here in Conroe, Texas, and we'll be happy to take care of anybody.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in again. Remember, the body heals one way and one way only, above, down, inside out. Keep your atlas adjusted and your attitude improved. Thank you so much.
If you are or know a veterinarian or chiropractor, or a student of either of these professions, visit our website, Animal Chiropractic Education Source, to see how to become certified in animal chiropractic. Start improving the lives of the animals around you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.